Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Right, so for a little while now, there's been this debate as to who is the rightful number one in the heavyweight division. And of course, people will look at the two champions, Anthony Joshua and of course, Tyson Fury. And I've said it before and I'll keep on saying it. Until these two have a fight, they both have a legitimate claim. I know Joshua fans don't like hearing me say that, and Tyson Fury fans don't like hearing me say that, because for some reason, it's a case of, if you say Tyson Fury is number one and Joshua's number two, Joshua fans feel like they are number two. Or if you say Joshua's number one, Fury's number two, then Fury fans feel like they are number two. When the reality is, Joshua, Fury couldn't care less about me or you. Okay, whatever they do in their lives and inside that boxing ring does not affect either one of our lives. But it's a debate where it can only be settled when both of these guys get in the ring. Now, as I said before, I can see an argument for both of these guys being number one. You could say Tyson Fury because he went over to Dusseldorf, defeated Vladimir Klitschko. Excellent stuff. He went over to America, defeated Deontay Wilder. In my opinion, twice, but certainly the second time. With Anthony Joshua, Joshua also beat Klitschko, and the AJ haters will say, but that was Klitschko after 18 months of inactivity. Like they have this impression Vladimir Klitschko didn't have some training camps, like he wasn't preparing for a Tyson Fury rematch twice and all that kind of thing. So Klitschko wasn't sat on the sofa. So Anthony Joshua, in his 19th professional fight, defeated Vladimir Klitschko as well. He did try to get the Wilder fight. Wilder turned down 120 million. Again, that's not an opinion, that's a fact. Now, Joshua, of course, with all the belts, he went after them one after the other. Joshua, he's been in, 7 or 8 world title fights, and Tyson Fury's been in 3. So, who has the legitimate claim? Again, Fury, he's never defended a world title. You could argue that one. But again, you could also argue, but Tyson Fury's undefeated. Joshua isn't. But Joshua, he did avenge that defeat. So there's so many different scenarios. Anyway, Dillian Whyte, he's given his thoughts as to who is the number one in the heavyweight division. And again, it's just his opinion, and he will know as well as anybody, you don't know until they get in the ring. Now, he's not saying that, for example, he says that Tyson Fury is number one, but he's not saying that Fury beats Joshua. He's not saying that. He's just saying based on achievement so far, Fury is number one. And we'll get into Dillian Whyte's statement. I'll admit you have to say Fury is ahead of me, then you'd have to say Joshua. Fury's the only guy who has won all the belts, even though he didn't defend them after he beat Klitschko. So you have to say him. He went to Germany and beat Klitschko in his prime. He went to America and beat Deontay Wilder, knocking him out the second time, and I believe he beat him the first time. Facts are facts, and I'm a factual guy. You have to say he's the best heavyweight around at the minute because he's the only one who's done things like that. Joshua should have fought Wilder years ago, but he didn't. Fury came back after all of his problems and beat Wilder. Dillian Whyte statement. Now, he's having a little bit of a dig at Joshua there. Of course he is. We all know the rivalry between Joshua and Dillian Whyte, okay? But in reality, they both do support each other. Okay, they both shared the ring. They both have a hell of a lot of respect for each other. But of course, he's mentioned about Joshua should have fought Wilder years ago. Dillian Whyte knows better than anybody. Trying to get Deontay Wilder into that ring is damn near impossible when Wilder doesn't want to do it. He turned down 120 million with Anthony Joshua. He turned down his highest ever payday against Dillian Whyte and said he's going to freeze out Dillian Whyte. So Dillian, he knows the truth behind it, okay? He's just trolling Anthony Joshua a little bit. Of course, he says about Tyson Fury, he's never defended his belts, but he was the one who went over to Dusseldorf and defeated Klitschko, absolutely. And yes, he did go to America and defeated Wilder. Where most people will look at it in hindsight now and go, but Wilder's always been limited. Had Joshua had fought Wilder beforehand, had Dillian Whyte fought Wilder beforehand, I've said it, many of you guys have said it, these guys would have annihilated Deontay Wilder as well as. Maybe not as convincing as what Tyson Fury done it, because Tyson Fury put on an absolute masterclass against Deontay Wilder in the rematch. And most of us will agree that if Wilder couldn't beat Fury the first time round, when Fury was nowhere near match fit after fighting two absolute bin men, there was no way he's going to beat him in the rematch. But of course, you always give Wilder that puncher's chance. Now, Is Tyson Fury number one? Maybe. Again, I can see the argument for it. I really can. And I can also see the argument with Anthony Joshua. Joshua is the unified heavyweight champion of the world. He didn't defeat one guy to get all those belts. He defeated 3 guys to get those belts. He lost those belts for sure, but then got revenge in the rematch. Again, people want to nitpick and say, but he ran away in the rematch and all this, that and the other. Well, he outboxed him. It's called boxing. It's not called street fighting. All right? What he done in that rematch against Andy Ruiz Jr. is what Muhammad Ali done many times. But yeah, he goes down as one of the greatest. Anthony Joshua ran away. That doesn't make any sense to me. With Tyson Fury as well, most people saw him as a pure boxer. We've seen him aggressive a couple of times, but when you're getting battered around by Otto Wallin and you're in real trouble with Otto Wallin, yes, he won that fight quite comfortably on points, but it wasn't a case of Fury just annihilated Otto Wallin. No, all those rounds were pretty close, or some of those rounds were pretty close, and Tyson Fury had to dig deep with that cut, and he was very, very lucky for that fight not to have been stopped. He may well have a lot on his resume right now had he not have been in Las Vegas fighting for top rank. And that's the truth of it. And I'm pretty sure that even Tyson Fury will say that. Ben Davison would say that. But that aside, as to who is the number one, I have absolutely no idea. And until these two get in the ring, there's no way of telling. I can see a scenario for Joshua and Fury fighting, say, twice, Fury winning one of them and Joshua winning the other one. Honestly, I can see all kinds of scenarios. And if you're a Fury fan and you say there's no way in hell that Anthony Joshua would ever beat Tyson Fury, if you're saying that, there's something wrong with you. Honestly, there's something wrong with you. You've got Tyson Fury on too much of a high pedestal and Joshua too much on a low one. Again, if you think that Tyson Fury has absolutely no chance whatsoever in a million years to defeat Anthony Joshua, again, you're putting Joshua on a high pedestal and putting Fury down on a low one. The gap isn't as big as some people would let you have it. It just isn't. Again, Dillian Whyte, he can defeat both of these guys. So in my opinion, all 3 of these can beat each other. Who would be the favourite to win, say, a battle royale between those 3? You'll probably have to go with Tyson Fury because he's very, very difficult to hit. But again, we've seen with Tyson Fury, if he gets hit, he'll go down. We've seen with Anthony Joshua, he will also go down. We've seen with Dillian Whyte, he will also go down. But anyway, until that fight actually happens, we don't know. But that's Dillian Whyte's belief. He believes that Tyson Fury is the number one because he's held every belt that there is to offer in the heavyweight division. And you can't disagree with that. You really can't disagree with it. But hopefully one day we get to see these 3 fight each other. That's my wish for heavyweight boxing. Honestly, them 3 doing like a round robin or fighting each other, say, twice. And let's see who comes out on top. People will have their own favourites in that one. People will say Tyson Fury is definitely going to wipe the floor with Joshua and Dillian Whyte. People will say Joshua is definitely going to wipe the floor with Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury. Again, people will look at the fact that Joshua already has a win over Dillian Whyte as well. But again, be realistic, that was 5 years ago. Dillian Whyte is far more improved since then. And of course, he was injured in that fight. I'm not saying that Joshua wouldn't have won at that time anyway. I'm saying that these are the facts of it. But again, you could probably look at it and go, in some ways, if Dillian Whyte wanted to be a little bit selfish, he could say, well, Anthony Joshua is number one, knowing that Joshua has a win over him. So therefore, he lost to the best heavyweight in the division. He could go down that route, but he hasn't. He's gone down the route of Tyson Fury is the number one heavyweight in the heavyweight division. Now, I know most people will go to the fact that Fury's never defended his belts, whereas Joshua has on multiple occasions. I mean, if you look at the overall resume, Joshua has fought more top-rated opponents than Tyson Fury has. You could look at it as well and say, but Tyson Fury, he has travelled on the road and done very well. Again, that's true. Again, Joshua, he did go to Saudi Arabia. Okay, it was pretty much a home country for him because it was like a home crowd, if you like. And of course, it was all built around Joshua, wasn't it? The stadium was built for Joshua and everything. But reality is, people like it, people don't like it. The only way to find out, these two get in the ring. Old school method. Get in the ring, have a fight. Let's find out. For me, personally, I would love to see Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte first. then the winner go fight Joshua. Of course, it's a risk. Maybe Joshua will lose to Pulev. Maybe he'll lose to Usyk. You never know. Or maybe he'll annihilate both of them. You just don't know heavyweight division. Anyway, that's Dillian Whyte's thoughts. I'll give you mine as well. You drop yours in the comment section below. Make sure you are clicking that subscribe button. I'll catch you all on the next video.